How's it going, YouTube? I shot this video earlier, but I thought it came out way too long, and I wasn't very happy with how I explained things, so this is take two. What I wanted to do today was explain how I go about cleaning blue Amberol and Indestructible cylinder records. Now, most people refer to these as wax cylinders. Well, these records specifically are not made of wax. They are made of celluloid, which was a sort of an early form of early type of plastic. And so these are very durable. They survive very well typically. This is just a Indestructible that I had grabbed. You can see it's kind of dirty. There's some scratching on it, so I don't know how well it will play, but I'm going to clean it anyway. Here's another blue Amberol I grabbed. The ones I cleaned earlier were dirty, but I didn't like how the video came out, so I don't have those anymore to clean, unfortunately, because I cleaned them earlier, but these still need to be cleaned, so I'll go ahead and do these. So as I said, these are made of celluloid. This one is the blue Amberol cylinder. So you can see they're both blue, but sometimes they're like shades will vary. And this is so those are the blue Amberols. This is an Indestructible cylinder. These are typically almost always black. And they'll have that July 29th, 1902 patent on there. There are two kinds of these. There are 2-minute and 4-minute Indestructibles. The 2-minute Indestructibles won't have anything on the rim telling you that it's 2-minute. The 4-minute Indestructibles will have a 4M somewhere, inscribed somewhere on this rim. If it doesn't have a 4M, it's a 2-minute. If it has a 4M, it's a 4-minute. That is important because you want to know what reproducer or what machine to use when playing these. The Edison blue Amberols will always be 4-minute. So these will be played in like an Amberol 30 or only with a Model H reproducer, or if you select the correct stylus, on a Model K reproducer for those who have those machines. But that's a different topic. So yeah, I'll just dive right into what I do for cleaning these. It's very important to note that the inside of the Edison cylinders, so the outside is made of celluloid, the inside is made of plaster. It's plaster of Paris, and you cannot get these wet. What happens is over time it will, the plaster of Paris absorbs moisture from the atmosphere, just from the air around it, and it will push out over time, and it can actually cause, and this is somewhat common, you'll push on the celluloid on the outside, and the inside will continue expanding, and it will cause it to crack, and it will split. And sometimes, in really bad cases, the celluloid will split all the way up the middle, and your record will be destroyed. So, very important not to get the inside wet. Do not get the plaster of Paris wet. Same thing goes with the Indestructible cylinders. You only want to clean and get the outside wet. You do not want to get the inside wet. These aren't plaster. It's cardboard, and I believe there's like a leatherette or something over top of it. But basically, yeah, the inside's cardboard, and then there are these two metal rings. They help keep it from warping, and they sort of reinforce the cylinder, reinforce everything, keep the cylinder nice and sturdy. So if you get the inside wet, well, try not to, but if you get the inside wet, you might cause these rings to rust as well. So that's something else to keep in mind. If the rust is really bad or if it really bothers you, you could take something and clean the rust out if you really needed to. But that's, yeah, 9 times out of 10, it's never really a problem. But anyways, just a little bit of an introduction there. So this is my method for cleaning these. Sorry, I have a coat on here. My phone is kind of moving around. There we go. Okay, so this is sort of my method. I put some Ajax. I use Ajax Ultra. You can really use, I believe, almost any dish soap. You could use like Dawn or something. Yeah, really just a household dish soap. I like using Ajax. I've never had a problem with it. But there's many different ways to skin a cat. And other people will probably give you different ways of cleaning these, but this is the way that I've been doing it. I've never had any problems with it. So yeah, you'll put Ajax on your rag, then you'll wring it out. So you can see it's a little bit dirty from me cleaning earlier. But you don't want it to be damp or dripping wet. You just want it wet enough that you can. You just want it damp, wet. Same thing with this other rag, except for I'm not putting soap on it. I'm just getting it wet. And you'll see there are soap suds. I don't know if the camera will pick those up. There's soap suds coming out of this rag. That's just because I wiped the cylinders down after I used the soapy rag. So you want to leave a little bit of water on here, but not a whole lot. And then this last one, and these are all like microfiber towels. I got it like Harbor Freight. If you're an Inside Track Club member, sometimes they give these out in a giveaway just for free. So, and you can buy these at Walmart, Target. I mean, these are just basic, simple microfiber towels. And I have a towel here for drying my hands or setting cylinders on. So yeah, you want to make sure your hands are as dry as you can get them. Your hands will get wet, but just make sure when you're picking up a record that your hands are dry. So once again, you don't get water on the inside. And yeah, so you can hold it like this. This is the proper. Well, my fingers are dry. This is the proper way to hold a cylinder. Excuse me. When you're cleaning, though, I always hold them like this. You want to hold them from the inside and spread your fingers after you've cleaned them. You don't want to touch the outsides. You want to avoid touching the grooves and anything there. Like I said, the celluloid cylinders are a lot stronger. They can take a lot more, handling and damage. The actual wax cylinders, the earlier ones, the ones that are actually made of the wax metallic soap material, you never want to touch the outside. That can possibly lead to mold growth. The oils on your hands can react with the chemicals and that make up the material, and can lead to mold growth, and then your cylinders are ruined, unfortunately. Maybe at some point I'll post a video on how I'll say clean, but using that word very loosely. I guess maybe try to prevent further mold growth and such on wax cylinders, but this is good for cleaning celluloid. So as you just saw, I wipe this down with my nice soapy cloth. Notice it's not dripping water. It's it's wet. And I'll take the cloth without the soap, and I'll wipe it down too. You can push up against there and try to get the rim. Just be careful and be mindful. You don't want to take the paint out of the lettering there. And then once most of your suds, most of your soap bubbles are gone, it's just water. Then you can dry it off. So I kind of have a soaping cycle. This is, I guess you could call this like a rinsing cycle. I'm trying to get the soap out of it and just, kind of water it down, I guess. I wouldn't recommend putting these under a faucet and rinsing them, just because you don't want to risk getting water in there. I hope I'm stressing that enough. But yeah, and then you just continue wiping down your record until this is what you got. The grooves on this one will look a little more gray, just because this is a little more of a used copy. I wish I would have done a better job filming the last batch that I cleaned, just because they were so much dirtier and they were a lot nicer underneath the grooves. But I'll probably play one of these at the end of the video here, just to sort of show what they sound like after they've been cleaned. I'll clean this Indestructible. I don't want this video to go too terribly long. That's why I didn't like the last one that I shot. I I don't know. I tend to ramble and kind of get into it a bit, which works against me sometimes. So if you're going to do anything, might as well do it right. So we're back here again. I hope this record plays... Oh, there goes my camera, excuse me. I hope this record plays pretty well, despite the scratches. We'll have to see how it sounds later. When I'm drying these off too, I'll wipe them down with the rag, and then I don't typically play them right after I've cleaned them. I'll put them in front of the fan for a while, just because, you know, those grooves are so small, so narrow. There's sure to be moisture and some water probably still trapped down in there. So it's always, I think it's a good idea to put them in front of the fan and let the fan blow on them for a while. Sometimes after a while you can pick them up and move them so that you're changing the surface that's getting excuse me, air blown on it. But yeah, I mean, this came out nice and shiny. Besides the scratches, it looks great. I'll clean one more here. This one I was excited about finding. I got a copy of the Preacher and the Bear, which maybe this is the one I'll play at the end. These blue Amberols, they're the most common kind of cylinder record you'll find. You know, either these or Indestructibles. Usually they survive the best. They really made these to last. It's nice that you can actually clean these too, unlike the actual wax cylinders. Because once those start growing mold, there's really not much you can do besides try to inhibit the mold, you know, prevent it from growing any further. Which I will usually use, since I'm talking about it, I'll usually use, I think it's just rubbing, it's isopropyl alcohol. I use isopropyl alcohol for that. Sometimes these may take a couple cleans to get right. If they're just dusty, if they're not really dirty, if your records are just dusty, you can skip the soap and just wipe it down with a damp cloth and then dry it off and let it dry, or just let it air dry. Really just, and that's what the original instructions on some of the boxes will say to do too, is just wipe it down with a damp cloth. But if they're really dirty, I would definitely use soap like I'm doing here. And so yeah, not bad. This was a very well loved record. It's, you know, kind of gray in the grooves, and it's been used. Try to clean off this the rim here. Stay away from that edge. There we go. Alright, so I'll probably give this record some drying time, and then I'll put it back up. I'll put it on the machine, see how it plays. Alright, here's a little snippet of the Preacher and the Bear after having cleaned and given this record just a little bit of drying time. From about 1912, I believe.
From the fiery furnace of the good book do declare. pipe you to a finish without gloves mark as a Queensberry rules, eh? No hitting in the clinches,